Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of the Square Up podcast, where we help you give your brand a fighting chance. Today, I'm excited to have someone I met through a podcast, but turns out we basically have lived very similar lives parallel to one another in different areas and know so many of the same people, but did not know each other. And that's cool. But just listening to her story and then starting to follow her brand, I was like, gotta get her on the podcast to just go even deeper into sis, how did we get here? Because fabulous things are going on. So CeCe, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. So excited to have this conversation.
So what I like to do, I want to give you a minute to kind of just tell the audience, who you are, what you've been doing, all the fabulousness that is you and your business partner, but the fabulousness that is y'all at the moment, because I think it's really getting to the point that I cannot open Instagram without these aren't ads. This isn't the algorithm, because this is other people sharing events that you guys are hosting. And I'm like, I need to get in the car. I need to all this fabulousness is happening without me. Okay, so just let the people know what you're up to.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. But yeah, so I'm CeCe Coleman, Sierra CeCe Coleman, CeCe to most folks. Born in Mississippi, raised in Alabama, Mobile to be exact. I'm a woman of many hats. I am a philanthropist, a social entrepreneur, the founder of Go Girl Giving, the co-founder of Meet Me at the Bar. Yeah, I do a lot. But
the things.
I'll just talk a little bit about each one of those things. So again, just starting with philanthropy, I actually have made a career out of philanthropy as a grant maker. I spent 10 years at the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, working in Mississippi and New Orleans. And I most recently transitioned to another national foundation as of a month ago. And so that has really been a passion of mine, just really building off my altruistic spirit and the legacy of my grandmother, who was my first example of philanthropy, because she had the biggest heart and always gave in so many ways. And so I was able to find an avenue to actually pursue that as a career. And then I kind of say, I got a 9-to-5. I'm a 9-to-5 philanthropist, but I'm also like the 5-to-9 philanthropist. And recently, as in 2 years ago, founded Go Girl Giving. We are a collective of Black women in New Orleans who pool our resources to fund Black women. Because when Black women win, we all win. And so we
say it again for the
when Black women win, we all win.
Come on now.
So that's just really about being a community-based philanthropic model that supports our community. And so through our giving, we're able to award $1,000 mini grants to Black women-led nonprofits across New Orleans that center Black women and girls. And to date, we've made 11 contributions. So really excited about that work and our growth and the impact that we're able to make. So on the fun side, I'm the co-founder of Meet Me at the Bar.
That's fun. The philanthropy is fun. That was fun.
Oh yeah, it is. the more social, little turn up side of things. So Shantae C. McDonald and myself, we co-founded Meet Me at the Bar 2 years ago. We met at Alabama A&M University, where we are alumna. We both moved to New Orleans around the same time, reconnected, and have been just joined at the hip ever since. But Meet Me at the Bar is a social brand that connects people over cocktails. And it really is kind of like our origin story of our friendship. Because again, we knew each other in college. We weren't friends, we didn't hang in the same circle, but like I said, reconnected when we both moved to New Orleans. And the first time we met in person, we were like, let's go get a drink. And so we did. And we've been getting drinks ever since. And so, just building off of, what's true to us and understanding all the conversations she and I have had over drinks. Whether it's relationship stuff, celebrating new job accomplishments, talking business, talking money, we understand that so much happens over a cocktail, right? And so we would summon each other to the bar and say, girl, meet me at the bar. And that would mean, go grab your drink. We got to talk. Whether that was literally physically, virtually, on the phone, whatever, it didn't matter. Like, meet me at the bar was like a saying that we had at first. And so that really just evolved because people started catching on and was like, what is this meet me at the bar movement? And so we really have built a social brand that, again, focuses on connecting people over cocktails. And we do that through our signature events, like our bar tour, where we go around the city and we introduce folks to new cocktails and new bars across New Orleans and other places. We have the cocktail experience, which I'm in Chicago right now because we are expanding to new markets.
I've been seeing that. I'm not, I work on social media for a living. So it's like, I'm a mini, Instagram stalker, and just was looking at your stories. It's like, what is she doing up there? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, we're taking the Meet Me at the Bar movement worldwide. So the cocktail experience is so much fun. It's a cocktail party and folks become bartender for the day. And we teach you how to, make cocktails, and we have a lot of fun. And then we also have some products. We are currently sold out, but more products coming soon. Whether it's t-shirts, our cocktail and conversation cards. We're just, playing around intentionally, but like having a lot of fun, just building on, again, the social aspect of like what happens at the bar. So that's a little bit about me and all the things I have my hands in.
Love it. Now, I was unfortunately, I was unable to make it to Essence this year. One of my sorority sisters got married that same weekend, and it was just too much happening. So I was out of town, but somebody interesting was at Essence. Tell us about like that. Like, how did it happen? Like I said, I'm just going through my things. I'm like, wait a minute.
Ashley, Essence was a dream come true. Listen, PSA, y'all, in the virtual space, who they're listening, you're watching, whatever. If you don't believe manifestation is real, if you don't believe that words have power, let me tell you something. So I think around 2 years ago, when we first founded Meet Me at the Bar, we would take like professional photos. And I love Essence. I mean, come on, like we all grew up with Essence magazine in our house, right? That was like the epitome of Black excellence, right?
I actually used to cut, I don't know if you remember, if you're listening, Essence always had like a high fashion spread in the middle of the magazine, the very middle. And it would just be, it could be anything, shoes, but it was like really, really high dramatic fashion. And I would tear those pages out and make a collage, and they were all over my bedroom. It was just those. I waited for the Essence every month, just so I could take pages out and make a collage. So yes, Essence has been a part of our.
Absolutely. And so we would take these beautiful, like almost editorial level photos, and shout out to our photographer, Ashley. And I would always say, like, see, this is our Essence photo. This is our Essence photo. And I would tell my friends that, and I would tweet, my dream is for Meet Me at the Bar to be in Essence. And so when we got the call, I screamed and ran around in my house, and Shantae was like, you've been saying this for 2 years. You've been saying it. And it's like, literally, it was a dream come true. So for Essence, we were a part of a panel that featured Black women in the wine and spirit space, which was moderated by our friend Andrew, who also has a spirit that he created and is based in New Orleans. So you got this brilliant bomb ass panel of Black women in the industry talking about their story, moderated by this young Black man who explains spirits that he founded. And then right after, we got the opportunity to do a cocktail experience and show the audience how to create cocktails based on the women's like spirits. It was beautiful. It was fun. It was a blur because it happened so fast, but it was literally a dream come true. So yeah, manifestation is real. Speak it, say what you want, and it will come to you.
I fully believe that. A quick story. So like I said, I used to make those collages all throughout high school. And I remember when I was getting ready to graduate, I didn't know what I wanted to major in. And I went and talked to her. My sister asked me, she said, what could you do every day from 7:00 in the morning until 7 at night. And I was like, and I said, I could read and write all day. I'm like, I can read and write all day. And she said, well, you need to find a profession that will let you read and write all day. So I went to my guidance counselor and I'm like, is it like a job where you can read and write all day? Like, what is that? And she said, well, maybe you should be a magazine editor. I don't know why it never crossed my mind to do that until she said it. So from that point on, I was determined to become Susan Taylor when I grew up. I'm like, I'm going to be the editor of Essence Magazine. One day, that is exactly what I would do. And I would say when I graduated high school, that was the goal. I'm like, I'm going to work for Essence. I'm going to work for Essence. I'm going to be a traveling journalist for Essence, getting these amazing stories. That's what I'm going to do. And I would always say that. Lo and behold, again, shout out to the Instagram, to the social medias. Years back, pre-COVID, I was asked to be a featured blogger and YouTuber at Essence Fest at this, like it was a panel that was in art gallery, and it was Toya Wright, it was some cast members from Love and Hip Hop. It was just some other like amazing male actors and stuff. And I remember being in that room, I was like, I'm legit reporting and taking photos and like, so I was, writing the content and like sending it for Essence repost. I'm like, this is amazing. So but ever since then, I do it all the time. Like I'll randomly, like I've tweeted out before, I was like, I'm going to have a one-on-one interview with Gabrielle Union. I will randomly retweet that. Like once a year, I'm just throwing it back out there.
Yeah.
And so when you're listening, like really set those goals, say that, and just keep speaking it and not saying, don't talk down about the things you're doing. That she hasn't said, I had this little bar thing. No, you speak about it at the magnitude that you want it to be at. And now look at y'all out here.
Yes.
Just 2 Black women trying to support each other over a nice drink has turned into, what I love is now you guys are creating spaces where other Black women do that now. They're saying, we're all saying, meet me at the bar, but it's an actual event. We're like, meet me at the bar on Thursday and we'll talk about what happened last weekend, just to be there. So I love that.
One of the other pieces that I think is so critical, because I think COVID and also this social media environment has really hindered our communication skills, like our in-person communication skills. So one of the events that we've been doing lately is called Cocktails and Conversation. And that is really just around like putting the art of having in-person conversations, like making that relevant again, right? I have been out so many places and people will message me and we'll have conversations on Instagram. People will DM me and see me in person and will not say a word. And I don't know what that is about. So this Cocktail and Conversations program really just is, again, about helping people to have conversations in person. And so we give people prompts. We give you provocative, interesting questions to ask.
I did not know. Okay.
Yeah, like we give you everything you need to go up to a person to really start a conversation and to go a little bit beneath the surface, because sometimes people love to say, so what do you do? Right. And that's a legit question, but what about, what have you done that has excited you? Like what are you most looking forward to in your work or in your personal life? Like we give you prompts to ask. And so that's been really fun too. It's just to really, again, bring back in-person conversation.
I like that. And what I like about that is I tell people all the time, I am probably the most extroverted person you will ever meet. It ain't no introvert in me. I just don't, I don't have any, but I know one thing, like during COVID, so many introverted people were talking about how they needed that time to pull away because they don't know how to interact with extroverts anyway.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't even know how to do this. So I can be at home. But it also made the extroverts feel like, well, we don't want to be burdening you guys. Like we don't want it to feel like it was work for you to meet us somewhere. So I love that you guys are giving them prompts so that when you get in those situations where it's the person who they don't know what to say, just pull a card out of this bowl and this is what we're going to talk about. I like that. I think it makes it where the introvert isn't feeling uncomfortable with trying to think of something to talk about, and then the extrovert isn't feeling like they are overwhelming the introvert.
Yeah, for sure. And it pushes you to meet new people.
Yeah.
I always admire folks, and I'm one of those folks that like can go to the bar and just sit down and like just, you know, spark up a conversation with anyone, because you'll be so surprised like the type of relationships that you can build with a stranger. Like that can become your friend. I think a prime example personally for me is, shout out to Alicia Williams. Like she came to a meet me at the bar event by herself, and I just was talking to her, and we literally have the same story. You know, she went to USA from the Gulf Coast. I'm from the Gulf Coast, went off to school, and then we both went further from home to pursue career, then end up coming back to the South. And like, she's in my giving circle, and we have a really great relationship. And that was literally her coming to a meet me at the bar event by herself and me just sparking up a conversation. So you really can build relationships if you open yourself up
to just meet somebody new. And you never know. And I say that to people all the time. I'm very anti the whole no new friends.
Me too.
I'm like, no.
Who says that?
Weird people. I don't even understand. And also, yeah, bringing it back, Alicia is one of my favorite people on the planet.
Like so kind. So
and sweet. I was actually her orientation leader her freshman year at college.
And
wow. Like me and her cousin were already really, really good friends. So then she came in as like baby sister, whatever, coming into college. And like, to just meet somebody who you click with in a non-pressure environment, and you know, nothing like a good drink.
Right.
And everybody knows, like, I don't even really drink, but I drink wine. I'm a wine drinker. And so nothing like a nice glass of wine and some good conversation for me. And we can talk all night. So
exactly,
like, you just have to have the atmosphere set up. And I think a lot of people don't know how to set up the atmosphere. So you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely love it. Okay. So quick question. So all of these wonderful things you're doing right now, like y'all are creating this experience. You are getting people out of their shell from being in the house for basically 3 years. We basically just been hermit crabs in the house and trying to figure out how to get back out safely, but comfortably back out. But how did we get like here? Because you told us the journey of like how you two met and you decided to get this idea, but at the same time, like you didn't go to school, you didn't go to college and say, or like when you were 14, it's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to do events at bars. when you're 12, I want to do events at bars when I'm older.
Yeah.
That's not how it went. So like when you were younger, like kind of what was the goal in that journey, like transitioning to here?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know I didn't grow up as one of those kids who just knew what they were going to do and like have pursued that. Right. I think when I was younger, I thought I was going to be in the medical field. Like my mom was a nurse, my grandmother was a nurse, my auntie's in the medical field. Like I had so many people around me that were RNs, and I'm like, oh, well, that's the path. But then as I got close in high school, I started to kind of codify like what I really, really wanted to do. And so I ended up going the route of becoming a registered dietitian. So I kind of did it on purpose. So I didn't want to be an RN because everyone expected me to be an RN. So I wanted to be an RD. And I just knew that I was going to
just rebellious for no reason. Just like
basically, right. So I said, okay, I'll become an RD and I will focus on helping my community have a better relationship with food. Because if you really look at all the health issues and disparities that impact Black folks in particular, if you can mitigate a lot of that if you change how you eat, right? And I said, oh, and I'm going to work on like eating disorders. And went to Alabama A&M, graduated with a nutrition and dietetics degree, was supposed to go, do my practicum and do all of that. And I didn't get into a program. They're highly competitive and only a small percentage of people get in every year. And I'm like, oh, shoot, what am I going to do? But Kellogg Company had a relationship with Alabama A&M. They recruit the food scientists, chemists, nutritionists, etc. And so I ended up getting an internship at Kellogg Company, moved to Michigan like a couple of weeks after graduating. Michigan. Yes.
We are beach people. We don't do Michigan.
You know what? Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
That was a totally different experience.
That's the next podcast interview. Okay.
So did my internship at Kellogg Company, and then I transitioned to the Kellogg Foundation, which is the philanthropic side of the company, separate but related. And I ended up living in Michigan for 6 years.
Wow.
And so, this one no in terms of like not getting into that practicum program turned into a yes for a field that I think is so deeply aligned to like just who I am in terms of like wanting to give back to community.
Yeah.
So yeah, did 6 years in Michigan, was itching, dying to come home to the South, right?
I'm sure. No, look, if you're listening and you're in Michigan, no hate to me.
No, no
Southerners are Southerners, and coastal Southerners, we're a whole different, it's something different. We're not even like other Southerners. Those of us
for sure.
Yeah, we don't do the North at all.
Yeah, the cold, the gray. I would go home and my mom would be like, "Why are you so pale? Like you just pale." And I'm brown skinned, but she's like, "You need some sun."
You haven't been in the sun in years.
Yeah. So, but I end up getting an opportunity to continue to work for the Kellogg Company, but specifically in New Orleans. So that brought me back south, right? And I was so thankful for that. And I still, of course, live in New Orleans, but again, like that, moving back, and again, with Shantae moving back at the same time and us reconnecting, that is kind of the route we took to get to meet me at the bar. I don't think it was anything that we knew we were going to do or planned that we were going to do. We just had a good idea, and we both love cocktails, and we both love people and having fun with friends. And so we just, saw a need and a desire to bring people together, especially Black young professionals in the city, to bring them together intentionally in a different way. So we didn't really see that happening. So it's almost like we filled the gap in a way. And just to, again, just like bring folks together, and it just spiraled from there. And then I think one day we looked up and we were like, we got a business for real.
I absolutely love accidental entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I am from the family of the accidental entrepreneur. Like, we didn't set out to start a business. We set out to do something that you like.
Right.
And you realized there was a need for it, because not only are you setting up a space of like, I'm just trying to get people out to interact with each other, then you realize how many people were dying for a way to interact with other people.
Exactly. And it opened up opportunities. Like we started working with certain spirit brands, and they wanted to sponsor, because of course it's an opportunity for them to get their product in front of people. And like Black folks, we are a spirit mixer community, right? Henny Coke, my vodka Cran. And during the pandemic, I went totally bonkers with the whole like mixology cocktail stuff, and I was like literally making cocktails every single day.
That was there you go.
And one of our first products was an actual cocktail book. So we wanted to help people to bring that experience at home, because you go out to a restaurant, you have a good drink, you like, oh, I don't have all these ingredients, and how can I remake this at home? But we wanted to keep it simple. We wanted it to be, again, something that everyone can do. And that was our first product, was the cocktail book.
And if I'm making a drink, look, once you pass 3 steps, I'm done. I need this to have like 3 steps. Too many things. Somebody else gonna have to make this. But I like a good, simple, but pretty drink. Yes. I'm a pretty drinker. I'm not a sweet drink girl, but I'm a pretty drinker.
And we love a good aesthetic, right? The cocktail has to look as good as it tastes.
Toss a flower in the top for some reason. Just some kind of flower and a cherry. Okay. Okay, first, I love all of that. But I want to kind of think, you were talking about that journey to getting here and partnering with all these different people, but now you've created something that is beautifully bigger than you. Which I love, but I'm sure a lot comes with that, because now, whereas the only expectation in the beginning was we're just trying to have fun,
right?
Now there are actual business expectations connected to this brand, where even if it's just the experience that your guests are expecting, what a brand or another like spirit that you're partnering with, they might expect after the event or all the kind of, so all of that now, it is a business. So when it comes to that, like I said, I know those stresses can come up. We can sometimes get into that mindset of like, this is too much. Or I don't want to do it this week. I just don't want to do it. I know we planned on we were going to do it. I've had a stressful week. I don't want to do it. And it's all kind of things can happen where you might want to give up. And I just wanted you to kind of take us through maybe one particular experience you might think about, or I said you could be an entrepreneur like me who wants to quit every week. And I'm like, I just want to quit and get on Indeed and get a job. Just like, forget it. But take us through something where mindset, or both of you guys were kind of like, I don't know if we can keep doing this at this level, but instead you decided to kind of square up and be like, you know, we're going to fight. We're not going down without a fight.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. And I would say that we don't have it all together. Like, we are learning along the way, because again, like, this accidental entrepreneurship is a route that we've taken. But thankfully we've had really great mentors and people in our lives to help direct us. So that has been an incredible blessing. But I know for me personally, I'll say two things. One is, personally, I have to, again, give a shout out to my bestie, my friend, my sister, my business partner, Shantae, because I remember last year, it was just hard. Like, I was going through a lot, and I was like, I have to take a social media break. I need to take a break, sis. And I think the beauty of, and the blessing that we have in our business is two of us. So we shared the load. Yeah. But I remember going to her and I was like, I got to take a break. Like, I got to take a step back because I'm not well. And she was like, do whatever you need to do. I got us. And she did it, right? Like, our social media presence is a huge part of our success. Yeah. And so, you know, in social media time, you don't post for 2 days. That's like 2 years of not posting. The algorithm gets jacked up. You got to constantly post, right? And I'm mostly responsible for like creating some of our content and like doing the design work. And that wasn't like her thing, but she jumped in immediately and was like on it. Right. And she gave me the space that I needed to do what I need to do personally to be able to show up for the business. Yeah. And so, you know, I think that was a moment where I was second guessing myself and my ability to manage and balance all of the things. Yeah. Like I said, I wear a bunch of different hats. We still have full-time jobs plus other things that we're doing. Hello. And so I think that was a real moment for me personally, in which I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can do it for my own personal reasons, but thank God I had a partner who loves me, right? And is supportive of me and was like, nah, we good. But I think every day, because we are growing, and I have put another manifestation out there that I'm hoping will come true. And I think it has a really good possibility of becoming something big, like really, really big.
Wait, do you see me? I'm like,
I can't say it again.
Okay, so you guys, when we turn this off, I'm going to try to get the tea from you. And y'all just gonna have to wait because
no one knows. No one knows. It's TBD. It's in process.
Somebody DM me like her favorite snack or something. I'm trying to and get this.
But as we're thinking about like this new opportunity that is upon us, growth, we both started new jobs. It's a lot going on. We're trying to manage a lot. I think sometimes we sit here and I'm looking at her right now, and I think we look at each other and be like, what are we doing? How are we gonna do? You know, like really questioning our sanity, because it does take a lot to balance all of those things. Yeah. But you know, we keep at it because we love it and we see the fruits of our labor. Mm-hmm. We have people in our corner encouraging us. And I think any moment where we were second guessing, like a blessing happens, an opportunity gets presented to us, something crazy. And we like, all right, thank you, God, for like letting us know we're on the right path. Because sometimes you need reminders, right? When you get down or when you feel like, are we going in the right direction? And every single time we get that sign.
And I love that God will send those types of connections where you know it's him. Like, I couldn't have put this together
Right.
Like my mind didn't even go this far. Like what, like I just did a social media DIY marketing and branding webinar. I was asked to do a session for a cohort, and the founder of that program, she like sits on the board of Steve Madden. Like she like the fact that they reached out to me, literally sent me an email like, hey, could you teach this session on our cohort in June? I'm like, me? Like, and it's not like a downplay to yourself. It's just like you never would have thought to even ask and say, I would say it's a difference between feeling like you don't belong in a room than just not asking to be in the room.
Yeah.
Not that you may feel like you're completely qualified, but you just never even it crossed your mind to ask. So I love that God will extend those opportunities for you so that you can be like, you know what, God, I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, this past week, actually currently, because the week is still, the event is still happening, was Tales of the Cocktail in New Orleans. And it's like the industry's leading conference that brings together distillers, mixologists, bar owners, all of that. And we were at events that literally where we got invited to like the week before. We didn't even plan on attending these events. And again, just got connected, and shout out to CeCe Coleman, who's an influencer in New Orleans. But I will also say this, and I see this in my giving work, my philanthropy work, and I see it with Meet Me at the Bar. Black women have been one of our biggest supporters.
Hello.
And what I do know for sure is like we have to ask for what we want. We sat in a meeting with Lynn and we asked her specifically for something. And when I tell you she was on it by the time she got home that night, like connecting us to people. Same thing with Tracy. Shout out to her. Like, just what y'all need. How can we help you be successful? Let's collaborate. And I just have to say that because we have to debunk this myth that Black women don't support each other and that we don't ensure the success of other Black women, because I know that to not be true.
That is one of my pet peeves when I see that and they're like, women are always trying to combat each other, or they don't want to collaborate, or they don't want to open a door. I said, who are y'all around? Because I swear I am around some of the most amazing Black women who literally, when I'm around them, it's like when I met you, my first thing was like, what can I do? Like, what can I share? Can I share something? I'm like, I got all these followers on social media. Might as well show them something interesting. And I like what you guys are doing. And it's like, I automatically want to help when I see a Black woman just really going hard for something. And I have been blessed to be around other Black women who, soon as they probably just met me that day and mention something, they're like, oh, I know I know a videographer, or I know this, or I know that, or I know an event planner, and everybody just starts connecting with each other. I think if nothing else, that's incentive for people to go to Meet Me at the Bar. y'all need to meet some new people, because if your circle is not what's up, you need to get out and some different people with a collaborative mindset instead of a crab mindset. And really, and like you said, be vocal about it, because I can't help you if I don't know what you need.
Exactly. Yeah. And you'll be surprised who has the connection, who has the very thing that you are looking for. And sometimes all we have to do is just ask.
Someone recently is completely out of my field, but I said, I don't know how to do a lot of things, but I know somebody who can do anything.
Right.
I am the people connector person. Somebody was mentioning to me that they needed to find an architect to create a digital version of a building that they were getting built and remodeling and stuff, whatever. And I was like, oh, I know somebody. And they looked like, why do you know an architect? And I'm like, well, I built a website for these people who were doing this and they were doing that, and they had had a meeting and da-da-da. But you never know. And they wouldn't have thought to ask the social media manager for an architect. I'm like, just say it out loud. You never know who is in the room with you.
Right. Yep. I agree.
So being respectful of time, we are going to start wrapping this up. This was amazing. Absolutely love it. And I'm excited for people who are going to be listening, because what you've said over and over and over again, what has been reiterated throughout this conversation is the power when we work together. Like the two of you coming together to create this experience and not shying away from, or that mentality of, I have to do it all by myself. I don't like that saying where people say, no one will care about your dream as much as you do. I don't believe that. Mm-hmm. And I know where they're going with that when they say, I get what you're saying, but you're also instilling this mindset of, if I really want to hit my goals, I have to be the one to make it happen. And I think that creates an atmosphere of isolation.
Individualism.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we weren't designed to prosper.
Right.
We're just not made to live that way. And everything you are saying is collaborate, express, speak, stay focused. If you get unfocused, get back. It's fine. Take a break when you need to take a break. Yep. And have people around you who will honor your break, your need, and they won't throw it up in your face or think you're being lazy or something. Like, no, you just need a minute. Like, go sit down. I got this.
Right.
And because they'll know that you will be there for them when that time comes that they need a moment. So that's the message I just keep saying. Like, we have to remember how to work together, because even before shutdown, people didn't know how to work together well. And then shutdown really made people feel isolated. So it's really getting back to that environment of we got each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll also say, you know, to be honest, like, we've had some relationships that were difficult, right, to work with other people. But I think the standard in which we hold ourselves and hold what we produce in our business is a standard of excellence. And we have to remind ourselves all the time, like, you can't always expect other people to do it how you do it, to deliver how you deliver it. But that's out of our control. What we can do is meet me at the bar at the standard of excellence.
There you go.
And that's what we keep at the forefront. We don't worry about anything else. We make it happen. And I think the work speaks for itself. That's the vibe and the experience that you have, you know, when people come to our events, it speaks for itself. And I think, you know, all good comes back to you. I truly believe that all good comes back.
And excellence is my word. Like, literally, I keep this quote. I'm looking at it right now, and I keep it on my desk, and it says, God has equipped me with everything I need to always execute with excellence. And I'll run that through my head.
I like that.
Before I delete. And it just came to me one day, and I write it. I rewrite it often. And whenever I'm getting ready to turn something in or whatever, I'm like, is this excellent though? Like, it's good, but is it excellent though? Is it something else I could do? Is this worthy to have my name on it? Because I take a lot of pride in my name, because I'm like, I am a representation of God. So it's like, this his name. Is this worthy enough to have his name on it?
Right. Yeah, that's real.
I need to do some tweaks or something and figure it out. It's just good enough is not what we do. And I even tell my kids that have a 7 and 8 year old, and I'll tell that they'll bring me something. I'm like, that's really good. I'm like, is it excellent? Do you feel like it's excellent? If my son says yes, I'm like, well, all right, it's excellent. I'll never tell him like, no, that's not excellent. But I always put that in their mind of, we're going for it. We're not stopping at just good enough.
Yeah.
That's just
I tell my sister that too. I'm like, don't be good, don't be great, be excellent. Like, when she goes to school, I always tell her
that. Well, thank you. So is there anything that you can tell us that's coming up that they may need to know? Anything coming up like in the coming months that, you know, we need to be on the lookout? Besides, just like, I'll make sure that all your stuff is linked and people can follow you guys to stay up to date. But I'm like, there's anything you want to tell us, you know, so.
You know, TBD on hopefully what will be, let me speak positively, what will be a huge announcement for Meet Me at the Bar, Q1 of next year.
Oh, good. But like, we don't have to wait too long, because that's not that far. Okay.
But right now, tomorrow I don't know when this will be released, but we are in Chicago right now for our cocktail experience tomorrow, on July 30th. But we'll see what, in terms of like next events, we're kind of like trying to pause a little bit, because we have so many asks and so much going on, to figure out what the last quarter of the year will look like for us. But we'll be having another bar tour. But also gearing up for football season, and hopefully we'll have some other really exciting work on the horizon that we'll be able to talk about.
Okay, so I will leave all of their social media handles and all that good stuff in the show notes and the description on YouTube, so you guys can follow them. So I mean, you can come out and meet some new people, meet them. I might be there. And also, like we said, just get out and meet some new people. If you're local or if you're traveling or vacationing, I think it would be absolutely amazing. So thank you again. And everybody.
Thank you, Ashley. This was such a pleasure.
I'm loving it. And thank you guys for always listening to the Square Up podcast. And I will catch you guys on the next episode. Bye.